Hello there, and welcome to another video here with Fly the Noob. And today we'll be flying the Cessna Corvalis TT out of Nanwalek in Alaska. Now, Nanwalek is a little community in Alaska. It is inhabited by some native people that I'll attempt to pronounce the name of the tribe, I presume. But first, let's go ahead and take our aircraft, get rid of all the chocks, the pitot cover there, and the engine covers. And our aircraft here today is the lovely Cessna Corvalis TT. And as you'd expect, it is pretty much just a GA aircraft. It's pretty much just like the Diamond DA62 and any other aircraft that looks like this kind of, I guess. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing to remark about. It is just a generic little aircraft. It wouldn't be in a region like this. It's not exactly a rugged bush plane, so I don't think you'd find a Cessna Corvalis TT flying out of Nanwalek, but especially not in this weather. Weather today is atrocious. Nonetheless, we're going to take it for a spin. Let's have a little bit of an extreme flight here today. The only thing to remark about this aircraft that makes it slightly different is that it has speed brakes. Unlike many of the aircraft of its size, it has speed brakes. It's modeled really nicely as well. I have to say, it's modeled really well. So yeah, that is the Cessna Corvalis TT for you. And as you can tell, getting it started up is effectively like getting a car started up. Nothing much to it. Especially if you're not doing everything by the book, which we're not going to be today. Now, let's take a look first in the cockpit just to make sure. There we are. Parking brakes are on and we are in cold and dark mode here. Before we get our aircraft started up though, let's take a quick look at Nanwalek Airport, which is handcrafted. Now, it is handcrafted in MSFS, but this is pretty much all there is to the airport. A little wooden cabin and a bike there, which is modeled really nicely. So that is pretty much Nanwalek Airport for you, ladies and gentlemen, and a nice little sign, which isn't too bad. So, yep, here it is. The community of Nanwalek, with a population of roughly 200 something. That is about it. That's all there is in Nanwalek. And yeah, just a tiny Alaskan community, quite typical. Very nice details here though. These detailed bins, some lawn chairs that have really nice patterns on them. But apart from that, there isn't much else to remark about the area. It does have really nice waters, a couple of boats there, a couple of ships. Beyond that, nothing else going on. Bags of rock salt here, a tent, and yeah. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, Nanwalek. Okay, let's go back to our aircraft, shall we? Here we are. Brilliant. Let's now get this started up. To do that, let's put mixture to rich pump there. Let's first of all go and turn on our batteries. Avionics master can come on too. Fuel selector to the left tank. What else shall we do here? These two are set. Throttle can be open slightly, 1/4 of an inch. Those can come on there. These, I believe, are the alternators, I believe. Let's prime our engine here for 3 seconds. Let's go ahead and start up our engine. And there we go. Around 1,000 RPM of sorts. And let's put our flaps down, and that pretty much gets us ready for takeoff apart from our lights. Yeah, we haven't turned on our lights here. Not a big deal. There's nothing else going on around this place anyway. So there we go. Our lights are now on and we're pretty much ready to taxi out and take off. Now, before we do just that, let's take a look at today's weather here, which is quite atrocious, if you ask me. Look at that. Look at the windsock. We've got about 15 to 20 knots of, I would say 15 to 20 knots of wind, sometimes even up to 25 maybe. And it's in the other direction, so at least we want to take off into a headwind. So let's taxi down the runway and turn around before we take off. And we're going to take a look at these mountains by flying through these gorgeous valleys We'll have a quick little trip and then we'll come back in for hopefully a decent landing. Let's find out. Okay, so without further delay, let's go ahead. Let's head back to our aircraft. We'll turn around and taxi down the runway and we'll take off in this direction. Brilliant. There we are in the aircraft. Let's release our parking brake, shall we? Parking brakes released. Give it a bit of a throttle to get it moving. Let's turn it around. There we go. Just like that. Let's go ahead and get ourselves to the other end. Now, like I said, you wouldn't normally expect a Cessna Corvalis TT to be flying out of this area. Looks quite beautiful though. Obviously it's Alaska. Everything in Alaska is beautiful. Oh, skidding off the runway there. My bad. The wind is very strong. Anyway, let's continue towards the end of this runway here today. Hopefully we'll be able to take off without incident. And there's no way we're taking off towards that with a tailwind of 20-25 knots. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. We're not going to clear the mountain. So let's go ahead and ease on the throttle here because I don't want to come in too fast. I have no idea where it ends either. The brakes on this aren't particularly strong, as you can tell. Doesn't exactly stop very abruptly. So, okay, there we go. We can see the end now. There we go. Let's try and turn this around. Okay. Give it a bit of power there to help us turn around. Come on, little aircraft, turn around for us, will you? There we go. That is pretty much okay. So, we are pretty much ready for takeoff. There's no need to delay this just because I'm a little nervous taking off out of here. I believe we're going to be flying into a few showers along the way. Okay, let's go ahead and open up our throttles here. Engines responding. Okay, yeah, we're going to struggle to hold the runway here for sure. But let's see what we can do. Oh, good lord, that is not good. That is not good, that is not good. Okay, I'm going to pull back. And luckily, we're off. There we go. We are off. Oof. As you can tell, it's very bumpy. Flaps up. Very nice. Brilliant. Excellent. There we go. We're already into the rain. We've just taken off, and just like that, visibility has left the building, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely. I must say, though, it is absolutely gorgeous here. Stunning stuff, if we could see a little bit more. But let's turn around here. The mountains we're targeting today are in the opposite direction, more or less. Gonna have to rely on my instruments quite a bit here to make sure we follow level flight. Okay. Okay, let's come off the RPM slightly. Cut the throttle as well slightly. There we go. It's better. Luckily for us, we've got plenty of power available today with the Corvalis, and we're not going to have any issues in that department, hopefully. Brilliant. Fuel mixture, I'm going to leave it on rich here today. We're not climbing out to a higher altitude. There is Nanwalek Airport, ladies and gentlemen. And let's take a look at these gorgeous mountains. Let's fly in between these valleys. Ooh, got battered by the wind there. There you go, a little lake there. Let's cut off our throttle a little bit so we don't overspeed here as we dip down towards the. Ooh, we're a little too fast already. So because of the gusts and wind, we're gonna have a lot of that today. We're gonna try and keep on top of it as much as possible. But as you can tell, this place is absolutely lovely. Goodness me, look at that. Look at the way we're crabbing in the wind, but this place is just gorgeous. Let's take a right turn. Open up that throttle there. Hopefully RPM is not going to rise too much. I'll stay on top of that. Let's take a look at this valley off to the right here. Speed is dropping now. A little too much if you ask me. Come on. Okay, we gotta punch that throttle. There we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. Looking good. Looking good. That wind is horrible, isn't it? That wind is absolutely horrible. Just so I can have a quick look at how much the wind is and keep you guys updated, I'm going to open up a little nav map on my side here, although you guys can see it. You guys can't see it, sorry. We have 26 knots wind. 26 knot wind, ladies and gentlemen. That is crazy. That, ladies and gentlemen, is crazy. Once again, we've begun to overspeed here. But we're just flying through the valley nice and easy, enjoying the clouds as you would. Okay, let's see. Let's go outside, see where we need to go now. You know what? Let's try and do something a little bit risky here. Make a tight turn here into that valley, so we can take a look at it. There we go. Nice and easy. There we go. It's not exactly a valley, is it? But yes, very, very gorgeous. Very, very gorgeous. And as you can tell, the Cessna Corvalis, although it's getting battered by the wind, isn't really having difficulty flying in this area. Now, if this was one of the other Cessnas, the older models would be having a rough time right now. Flying in this kind of place. But for today, lucky us. Cut that throttle as we descend down here. We're gonna make our way just weaving through the mountains, more or less. There we go. Scenery is getting absolutely gorgeous. We can see a little bit of snow. Very nice. Now it does have an autopilot, this Cessna, but we're not going to be using it today. We don't really need to. Plenty of turns and twists along the way, so there's no reason for us to. We could go sideways. Let's do that. Let's go to the side here. We are flying in 30 knot wind, 29 knot wind at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty much from the north. So we've got a very strong wind from the north. Pretty much 20 knots, 360 degrees is what the wind is. At least that's what it's gusting to. So we've got very strong winds here, but we're having a little bit of fun. Absolutely stunning. Let's take a look at this valley. Let's take a look at this valley. And I must say the Corvalis TT is beginning to impress me by handling fairly easily. If this is modeled somewhat accurately, then this aircraft is pretty amazing. Holy moly. We have begun to overspeed there. Need to keep an eye on that. Usually when I fly GA aircraft into rough weather and in terrain like this, I have the opposite problem. We can't get enough speed. With the Corvalis, we got to be careful. It is very slippery. Very nice though. Must say, lovely aircraft. Anyway. Back of the sea here. Let's see. I wonder what kind of aircrafts they actually fly using in Nanwalek. We're just flying around the coast at this point. Take a look at this side of the passenger cabin. You can see nothing but gloom and doom. On this side we can see a bunch of mountains, which is not too bad. That cloud does not look friendly. Whatever is ahead of us does not look friendly. This is interesting. We're flying straight into it, aren't we? You know what, let's do it. Why not? Let's do it. We're flying with a tailwind of about 30 knots at this point, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, that is not good. Let's fly into this thing. Oof, look at that. Now there's a scenery. You know what? Change of plans. Let's go into that bay looking area there. Let's go into that bay area right there. Cut the throttle out because we're over speeding a little bit. flatten out that descent rate. There we go. That's much better. Look at that beautiful mountain ahead of us. Lovely area, this thing. There is an airport ahead of us. Would we like to perform a touch and go or some sort? We're flying straight for an airstrip. Oh, there it is. I see it. Can we slow this thing down? Oh, good lord. Can we slow this thing down? Let's find out. Well, we kind of have, haven't we? Can we land on that strip? I don't entirely think so. At least we can perform a touch and go, right? So I'm going to put the flaps down to take off here. Stow back our speed brakes. I had them deployed. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I should attempt this particular landing. It's my first time coming across this landing strip. But I feel like wouldn't be too bad, would it? You know what? I'm gonna commit to a landing. Let's commit to a landing here. Committing to a landing. I'm pretty sure Corvalis TT would not be landing here, but nonetheless. Okay. There we go. Nice and easy. Nothing too difficult. There's no way in real life this would happen. Let's take a look at that landing. Oh god, brake. Brake, 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 brake. Oh lord. Okay, we ran off the runway there a little bit. That's okay. Turn ourselves back around. See if we can climb back up here. Come on. There we go, climb back up here. I thought that was our end. I thought we were going to run off into the water, but we're not. Okay, that's great. Okay, first time landing at this particular airstrip. I gotta say, it looks quite lovely. It is a grass airstrip. So let me have a look at where we are, and then we'll take a look at our landing replay, although we overran that pretty interestingly. Nonetheless, just put on the parking brake there. We are at Dogfish Bay, ladies and gentlemen. This is called Dogfish Bay. Okay, so the little airstrip that we have just landed at is called Dogfish Bay. Let's take a look at our landing replay, shall we? Let's take a look at that. So, yeah, before we go any further, before we continue on our journey back to Nanwalek, let's take a look at our impromptu landing once again. There we go, a little landing replay going on. We got our speed brakes on at this point, or rather extended at this point. I hope they go down, because I did put them back down. There we go. That's a lovely, very interesting. I've never seen speed brakes of that kind on any other aircraft there. Very nice. So let's check out this landing. Once again, this aircraft is looking stunning. It is beautiful. Very, very beautiful aircraft. Let's see, how did we do? I imagine the landing gear would be ruined by landing in a place like this. A lot of weeds and grass would get stuck in this, I presume. There we go. Nice and easy. We should have applied our brakes, but I got a little complacent on the brakes. I need to remind myself this aircraft does not stop very quickly on the brakes, so nonetheless, that wasn't too bad. Let's take a look at a few more replays, and then we'll get on out of Dogfish Bay, where we are, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at a few more replays, and then we'll get on out of here. Okay, our last landing replay before we get out of Dogfish Bay, just to see what we saw. A wing view, basically, is what it is. Once again, gorgeous country. Let's check this out. There you go, nice and easy. Nothing else to remark there. Nice and easy is pretty much what that was, and yeah. Okay, let's now go ahead and get on out of Dogfish Bay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, there we go, falling off the edge a little bit there, but not an issue. Let's get out of here. Okay. Here we are. Let's release that parking brake. Oh, good lord. What is going on here? There we go. Let's climb back up this little mound here. I thought we did, but apparently we didn't. There we go. Let's apply a little bit of throttle there. Let's bring our flaps back up to takeoff position. Come on, get up out of here. Let's put that RPM to max as well. There we go. Okay. Brilliant. Without further delay, let's get ourselves out of Dogfish Bay. Okay, right before we take off, I'd just like to pause for a second. And let's get out of here. Okay. RPM max. Throttle, there we go. Again, the winds are still, the winds are actually not bad right now at just 3 knots at this stage. Let's see how they fare when we get a little higher here. Okay, there we go. Flaps up, little in advance there. Okay, all of a sudden we got only 3 knot winds, so that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, leaving behind Dogfish Bay. Or that's what it's called, at least. Not too bad, eh? Not too bad. Lovely. Okay, the winds have just died down all of a sudden after our landing there, which I do not understand how that happened, but it has happened. And I'm on live weather here. Live time too. So, let's jump back in here. Bring our RPM down slightly. Cut our throttle slightly here as well. And let us turn to the left. Pass through a bit of the mountains here. And then we shall come back in, land towards Nanwalek. Okay, so that is what we're doing now. There we go. Brilliant. Very, very nice, this flight. There we go. Let us head ourselves back into Nanwalek. Okay, I'm just going to take this little number here. There we go. Gonna pass through here. And let's head towards those rather fearsome looking mountains ahead of us. And we'll turn to our left, hopefully, and that will take us to Nanwalek. Yes, that should take us to Nanwalek. So here's Dogfish Bay that we just landed into. And then we should head on to Nanwalek, which is somewhere there. If we go outside, there it is. There's Dogfish Bay. We just took off from there. Lovely. I wish that place was handcrafted. That would be really nice. Now let's take a left and pass through that corridor of low relief right here. A nice little valley. Fly over the lake and get ourselves into Nanwalek. Sounds good to me. Okay. Let's see what the passenger is seeing there. Not too bad. Not too shabby at all. Okay, I don't think we're in the area of green. I think we've got ourselves into a pickle there. Yeah, we're in the wrong place. Let's get out before this gets worse. So I'm gonna pull the throttle back up there to help us climb out of this little predicament before we crash into something. We're looking okay. We have enough speed here. We have enough speed to overcome this particular terrain. There we go, nice and easy. And we can turn ourselves this way. Yeah, there we go. That's a better idea. Nice. Gorgeous stuff. Look at that. I hope you're having a good time, because I am. Alright. We'll take a left here. Oh, sorry, a right here. There we go. That is exactly what we want to see. Some areas of low relief there. Not much in the way of terrain. And we're gonna get ourselves back into Nanwalek after that quick little trip around the area. So this is a little flight I did to familiarize myself a little bit more, get a bit more of practice with the Corvalis TT. And this is interesting. Let's see, what kind of winds are we having now? The winds we're having now are just 2 knots. Just 2 knots now, so... Oh! All of a sudden, 24 knot of gust. There, 22 knots now. So just like that, the weather has gotten worse as we come back into Nanwalek. Now we're at 27 knots of wind. So yeah, this is fascinating. This is fascinating. Oof. Okay. We gotta get ourselves to land here. We really do. Okay. Okay, I believe we're heading for Nanwalek now. The circle that we are heading towards is Nanwalek. This airfield right here is where we're trying to land here. So after we land, we'll have a look at our landing replays and see how we did. But are we landing from the mountainside, or should we go around and try and get a more stable approach is the question. Turning around. Okay, we have visual of the mountains at least. And there we go. Come on. Let's put on those speed brakes there. Let's try and land now. Okay, we got the speed under control more or less. Let's see if we can land into Nanwalek like this. That's going to be very, very difficult to do here. But let us find out. 23 knot wind. At least we're flying into the headwind here. Ooh, our speed is suffering. There we go, a bit of power there. And trying to dip our nose. There we go. There is Nanwalek. Okay, I think we might just pull this off. Okay, it's looking good, to be honest. It's looking all right. Okay, there we go. Come on. Come on, 100 knots. Oh, that's a little too fast. Okay. Come on. Come on. Okay. I can't believe we made that landing. But are we going to stop now? Brakes are fully on and we stopped. Yes! There we go. I would like you guys to try this and let me know what you thought about my little attempt there. Look at that. Welcome to beautiful Nanwalek. Welcome back to beautiful Nanwalek, Alaska, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and take a look at that landing replay because I'm really happy with that. I really didn't think I would be able to do it on the first try, but woo, that is exciting. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our landing replay just so we can see how we did, right? Okay, here we are coming in over the mountains where we nearly stalled here and slammed into the side of it, but we managed to save it. Looking beautiful. The aircraft is absolutely stunning, the Corvalis TT. There we go. We nearly slammed into the mountain there, but managed to save it. And down we go. Let's see how we did. That was by no means a smooth landing, but let's see how we did. There we go. Okay, we floated down the runway there. A little bit of a touch and okay. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is pretty dope. Not gonna lie, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Okay, very nice. Let's have a couple more landing replays from what the passengers saw from inside the cabin. Here we go, looking out over the wing. Let's see how that landing looked like. As you can tell, absolutely, well, terrible weather or gorgeous weather, however you like to look at it. I like to think of this as absolutely stunning weather for some exciting flying. But let's have a look at how that went, shall we? Let's have a look. How did that go? Okay. It looks absolutely stunning and scary. Let's have a look at how we landed. All right. Once again, the actual touchdown wasn't too rough. There we go. And brilliant. Very, very nice. Stopping just in time. Excellent. Let's have one more look at that. This right here is a view from behind the co-pilot, the seat behind the co-pilot. Let's see what that looked like. As you can see, the glass is a little more tinted there. And the rest looks really cool. Let's have a look. Oh, yes, there we go. There we go. I don't know if you guys caught a glimpse of that windsock right there. That thing was flying. Brilliant. Brilliant. Excellent. Let's have one more landing replay. And then we'll take a quick look at Nanwalek and then wind up the video. Okay, this view is really great because it helps us understand, gives us a better perspective here. This is where we nearly slammed in the mountain there. Saved it at the last second, and there is Nanwalek off to our right. There we go. Nice and easy. Down the slope. Okay. Good Lord, those winds were not kind to us. Look at that windsock. Okay, there we go. Nice and easy. Very nice. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. Alright, I hope you guys really enjoyed that little landing attempt into Nanwalek, and lucky for us, we managed to do it on the first go. That was completely unexpected, but hey, we made it. We made it into Nanwalek. Hope you enjoyed that little video. If you did, please leave a like. Consider subscribing to the channel. There's a lot more of these rather haphazard, foolish landing attempts coming. They're fun though, so hope you guys enjoy them. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I shall catch you in the next video. Bye bye from Nanwalek. If that's even how you pronounce it. But anyway, see ya.